Welcome, everyone. Today we bring in yet another Gen Z leader who at a very young age was named as the second within EY's founders under 30 as a recognition of his work on Gen Z. Here's Harry Beard for you all. Welcome, Harry, to Gen Z Leaders.
Thanks so much for having me. Very kind.
Yeah, of course. Let me introduce you to our audience. Harry runs operations and marketing for Future Labs, having founded Open Marketing just at the age of 17. He's regarded as a leading Gen Z expert, having featured in a number of major outlets, including Forbes, and giving a TEDx talk on the topic. Harry works with a number of the world's leading content creators to ensure he is always cognizant of the latest Gen Z trends. So Harry, can you tell us about Future Labs? What is it all about?
Yeah, it's interesting. Future Labs has really got two parts to it. So Future Labs is an insights company, first and foremost. So we work with a vast number of Gen Zers, mainly in the UK, to really help brands stay up to date with what Gen Z are thinking and Gen Z trends. But we also run things like focus groups, so companies can really get a deeper dive into this generation. But the other aspect to it is we run a brand called Prospect 100. And these are events for Gen Zers, for those who are 21 and under mainly, so they're slightly younger than the top end of Gen Z. And we focus on four main industries: music, tech, engineering, and design. And so we put on competitions and events. And our aim with these events is to really find the world's top 100 youth talents for these fields, and help nurture the ones to become the top 100 of tomorrow. And so we're really trying to just find the top 100 prospects for each field on a global basis. And we're at the time of recording, midway through our music competition, we've had just shy of 1,000 applications already from all around the world, from countries I've never even heard of. So our reach is pretty impressive. We've had some amazing people support the cause. But yeah, that's really what we're about. So we've got the B2B side, which is insights and focus groups and more sort of the logical side of stuff, I guess, and the kind of what I consider to be the less creative side from our point of view. And then we've got the event side, which is more kind of the emotional, by young people, for young people. Let's put on some events. Let's help more young people take their passion to the next level. And so, yeah, those are really the two sides to our business.
Well, that's a great vision, because I know a lot of people have like a lot of hidden talents, but they don't know how to unleash them or show them to the public. So that's a great way to do it.
For sure. And particularly something like music, there's so many people. I actually saw a really cool quote the other day, and it was, "The trends of music tomorrow are on SoundCloud today." And there are so many different platforms which kids are using now to try and, make the most of their talent. When we're looking at something like music, kids are always uploading on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube. And the amount of artists who are major today, like Charlie Puth, Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber, just three of my personal favorite musicians, all came up through YouTube. And so I find it super interesting that when we're young people looking to pursue our passion, we'll go and speak to our parents or our teachers, the really traditional means of seeking advice. And when my parents grew up, YouTube never existed. SoundCloud didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. And so I feel like it's harsh to ask them to really give us good advice on things that they never, well, particularly in the case of my parents, don't have a clue about. And so, I definitely think that we want to help young people by giving them up-to-date, relevant advice, not just from people who are leading the industry today, and so they understand what is required from people to make it in the industry today, but also from young people who have already sort of broken the mold and broken through to a level of success. And so we're bringing them to give advice to other peers of a similar age to them, to say, right, here's what worked for me. Here's what I was doing to utilize Reddit to make sure that I got spotted. My parents, if I went to them and said, how can I get spotted as a musician? You'd be waiting a while before they mentioned Reddit. They've never even heard of Reddit in the case of my parents. So we definitely just want to be able to give young people some more up-to-date advice from people who are really leading the way in these industries, not just sort of industry leaders at the top end, but also just young people who have already found a level of success that can help more young people. I guess it's always nice to have a pathway to follow, right? Or to see, right, here's how they did it, I want to follow. I mean, interestingly, behind me, I've got the Rolling Stones, and just over there, I've got the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles really had to carve the way for themselves. And, there are always those people who had to do it off their own back. And so we go and find those people and help to really sort of provide that pathway, I guess, for the next generation of talent. That's a really long-winded way of me saying it, but that's our kind of overall aim. The way industry is developing is so rapid, and it is changing in a really different way. Like, as you would have seen in the talk we were just speaking about that I gave, you know, I was talking about how times have always been changing, obviously, and there's always been slight nuances, but we're growing up for the first time ever where I'm finding my parents are asking me questions. You know, my dad's always coming to me and saying, how do I work this? How do I do that? And it's this idea of reverse mentoring has never been so prevalent as it is today. And so we've really recognized that and want to just be able to give people up-to-date relevant advice, because it's natural we will go to our parents or our teachers. And I just think it's super harsh on our parents and teachers to say, you know, how can I use Instagram to make me blow up in this field? Or how can I be using these online resources? And in some cases, again, I always use my parents as an example. They don't even know these platforms exist. So how can they give me advice on it? And so I think it's both sides of the fence we're trying to support here.
Yeah.
One sec. Right, sorry about that. Are you able to cut that out, do you know?
Yeah, I can cut it out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that really answers the question, I guess. But yeah, that's really our reason for running the events in particular. I think, you know, it all started because one of my co-founders put on some events of his own where he went to a tech event and he was the youngest person in the room by 15 years. And one of the realizations that we really came to was, in the past, if you wanted to pursue a passion, you would have to, in the case of something like music, you have to go and get a private tutor. So that's super expensive. So quite often most kids couldn't go and pursue their passion. You just have to go to school, and, you know, if you had 3 hours of music lessons a week in school, you pursue at that level, but you're always in a group, so you're kind of being held back. You can't really pursue it to the level that you want, because in a class there's always going to be people who are more motivated than others for different subjects. And so, you know, it was hard for you to really get ahead. And then if you wanted to start something like a band, let's say, you'd have to find people in your local area who had the same level of motivation as you, for the same passion that you have, with different skill sets, i.e. you don't want 4 drummers, and, you know, all willing to put in just the same amount of time and effort, and all have the access to pursue their passion at the same rate, if that makes sense. So you don't want someone that could afford a private tutor and so was really good at the drums, but your singer was lacking. And so you want to find people of a similar level as well. And so that was, you know, you can paint the picture in your head already. There's a lot of different hurdles you have to overcome before you make that band back in that sort of generation. Whereas with our generation, you've got a passion for music. You can teach yourself for free on YouTube as much as you want. So if you're motivated and passionate, it wasn't, okay, you have 1 hour of private tuition a week, so by 10 weeks you had 10 hours. You could go, particularly in this quarantine period, go onto YouTube and get 12 hours racked in a day easily. So you can pursue that passion to an unlimited amount for free. And if you want to make a band with people, you can make this band with people from all around the world. So you go, right, I need a bass guitarist. Let me go onto Instagram or Facebook and find a forum and find people who play bass guitar, and they could be anywhere in the world. And you can have a band of people. So you can have your singer in Australia, your guitarist from America, you can have the drummer from Britain, someone else, you know, your tour manager could be from Indonesia, whatever, you know, you want to build up for your team. You can have the person, your producer, be based in, insert the name of another country, Egypt. And you could have all never met each other, but you have a band. And, you know, I just feel like, and you could all be 14, and you could put this music onto Spotify and garner as many views as your music is deserving of, 10,000, a million, whatever. This was not possible for our parents. And so we really just, I guess, we appreciate that, you know, previously, if you wanted to be taken seriously for a subject, you needed to be educated, go to school, private tutors, and it would take a while to get this experience. But with Gen Z, if we're really dedicated to something, we can go and rack up the number of hours in a week that most people would take, you know, months to develop previously. So, you know, I definitely think there's still this misunderstanding that sort of, you know, times have changed. And so if there is a young person that is super motivated, whilst they may look 14 and be 14, they may be thinking in the same way and have the same level of experience that you did when you were 20. And so that's something that we're really cautious of. That's why we want to really put on events that are for the most passionate young people, because we also just see the benefit in connecting loads of different young people from all around the world. And we are super pro this idea that, you know, we shouldn't discriminate against people because of their age, just because a 14-year-old previously never had the chance to develop the skills that a 20 or 30-year-old potentially had. Now they do. And like, you can become a published musician at any age now. And that music can get any number of views. We're seeing Billie Eilish created, was it Grammy Album of the Year or something along those lines, from her bedroom at age like 16, 17. And so, we're seeing people like Greta Thunberg create worldwide movements at the age of, I believe, 15 when she started it, via just skipping a day of school. And so, like, young people are definitely able to develop a really mature skill set from a super young age, and are pursuing their passion in a really mature way as well. And so, yeah, we just really want to create an environment where all of these young people can come together, and work with one another, collaborate with one another, but also just be recognized for what they're doing. Because as you mentioned, I was fortunately recognized at the age of 17 for the work I was doing.
Yeah.
And that really helped open doors for me. And so I definitely saw the benefit that had to me on a personal level. And that's why I'm so keen for us as an organization to create something that is also recognizing top talent, because I know it really can particularly help open doors amongst older generations who, once they see you've been recognized by other people, they're willing to take a bit more of a risk on you, I guess, because they see, oh, if someone else has seen that you've got this potential, we're willing to sort of listen to you and start speaking to you a bit more as well. So that for me is why I'm so passionate about the event side of what we're doing, because I saw how much benefit it brought me, and I've seen how much benefit the events that Adam put on had for his attendees. And so, I see nothing but good in the events, to be honest. And I'm really passionate about taking them to the next level. I mean, with our events, we've only really just started them. And so I'm really passionate to see where they're going to go.
Mm-hmm. That's a great initiative. And I also saw that the Future Labs team hosts Future Summit events. What's the goal of these events and what's the outcome of them?
So yeah, the Future Summits were the original events that Adam started when he was 14. And as I mentioned, they were just to try and help more young people pursue their passions, because he felt not discriminated. And Adam, I'm sure you should get him on. He'll be able to talk about his own experiences way better than I could talk about them. But he definitely, having spoken to him, just felt like it wasn't an environment he felt comfortable in. And so we definitely just want to put on more events that just allow really talented young people to feel comfortable and to help take their passions to the next level. And that's the thing I think we really want to get clear. Whilst we're looking for the top 100, we're not necessarily looking for the finished product right away. Like, we get thousands of applications for these events, and we are hoping that, even if you're someone that's never had a song published on Spotify or SoundCloud, we want to help you. If the next level for you is posting something on SoundCloud or Spotify, we want to help you with that. So, like in the case of this current music event, we partnered with a company called Ditto, and they help you upload all of your music to things like 40 different streaming sites, and you keep 100% of your royalty, so you can remain independent. And that for us is a really great stepping stone of getting a young musician who has uploaded a video on Instagram or on YouTube of them making music, and it's like, right, here's this ability to now upload to SoundCloud and Spotify, and that's where loads of different artists have been spotted from, and it's an opportunity for you to generate some revenue from your music. And that for us is as important as it is to find, fingers crossed, the leaders of tomorrow. Like, that's the aim with everything we're doing. I guess it's kind of the underlying theme with everything we do is finding the next generation of industry leaders. But of course, to find those people, we also need to incubate and to nurture sort of the people who are like 3 or 4 years away from still being that finished product. So it's as important for us to go and help 14, 15-year-old understand what their passion is and help them develop their passion, take it to the next level, as it is to find, a 19, 20, 21-year-old who is, in their mind, the finished product that's just needing that kind of catalyst to help them go to the next level of being signed to a record label, in the case of music. And obviously the goals for being signed to a record label are different from tech to design to engineering, etc. So yeah, like for design, it might be linking them with a buyer from a big shop like Harrods or Selfridges in the UK or something like that. So those are definitely the goals that we're looking to give. And in the case of our music event, we put on some amazing things for the top end. So our top 5 winners will all get mentorship from people like Michael Jackson's ex-manager, the current manager of will.i.am, the current manager of Migos, the head of talent at Columbia Records in the UK, the head of talent at the manager for Lil Mosey, who's absolutely huge right now. So yeah, we're definitely offering some amazing opportunities for the top end as well, but we definitely want to help incubate and nurture those who have just developed what their passion is, are starting to think about, maybe this is what I want to do for a career, but I'm not there just yet. So for us, it's not just about helping the the most talented people. It's about passionate. If you're passionate, we want to help you.
That's a great message. And another initiative I saw on your profile was Prospect 100, which looks really interesting. Can you share more about this?
So those are the Prospect 100 events. They started as Future Summit, and they're called Prospect 100. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And I also saw you're a TEDx speaker and you presented multiple times. Is there anything that sparked your interest in public speaking? What got you interested in general?
I've always been someone that's quite enjoyed, I rambled on this enough, I noticed it myself. I quite enjoy just talking, even if it's just like on Xbox, sharing ideas with friends. But like I found from like quite a young age, I don't know how to explain it. I'd always just quite enjoy presenting, although I never call myself like a thespian. Like I don't enjoy acting as such. I would never want to, go and recite some like Shakespeare on stage to people, but I do enjoy sharing ideas. And I think, I was quite fortunate to be given those opportunities, particularly at like school. There was always opportunities for me at school, like there were public speaking competitions. So, it'd be like when we were 8 years old, who's the best public speaker in the year group, and who's the best public speaker in the school for between 8 to 13, and then you go to the upper part of the school and it's like, right, okay, who's the best public speaker from 14 to 18? And so there are always kind of competitions. I'm definitely a competitive person, so I guess that's something that definitely drove me on. But in recent times, one thing that's really sparked my love for public speaking, I guess, is this idea that you can share yourself with quite a big number of people all at once. And so at the end of it, you're having a load of different people coming up to you and saying, right, I love like what you said or whatever. And, they'll then say, right, here's what I do. And I think this would be cool for us to work together on this project, or I think it'd be cool for us to talk about this in the future. And so, it's almost like putting out a Facebook post, right? Like you put out a Facebook post to a couple hundred people and you may get 10 people responding like, oh, this looks cool. Here's this. And for me, public speaking is a very similar thing to like a Facebook post. The only difference is with Facebook, you have to already know them. Whereas with public speaking, when you're talking, most of the time you don't know anyone you're speaking to. So it's an opportunity for you to really expose yourself to a load of new people all at once. I guess if you're a Gen Zer watching this and you've just started a business, maybe, I know like loads of Gen Zers right now are starting businesses. Public speaking is a really great tool for your business because it's a great marketing tool. Like in some cases you can be paid for public speaking once you've done a number of them. So it can also help with revenue, but also like you never know who's in the audience. And the amount of times where I've gone to speak somewhere and, I haven't been paid, it's cost me a load of money, it's taken like 2 or 3 hours to get there or whatever, but I do it because I quite enjoy doing it. And then you get there and you end up actually getting a really cool opportunity off the back of it. And so I definitely think there's two parts. I would just say whenever you get a speaking opportunity, say yes. Even if you've got a bit of an ego and like you think you should be paid and it's taking your time, you've got to travel. Like I get for some people, you can justify getting big fees for it. But if you're a young person who's just started a business, just say yes all the time because like the opportunities that can come out of it are amazing. Like the TEDx talk that you mentioned, you can't get paid for a TEDx. It takes quite a while to get to the venue. You spend weeks preparing your speech. Like, there's a lot of effort, but the amount of upside that's come from that opportunity for me alone has been pretty high. Like people from all around the world connecting, saying, I'd love to give you this opportunity. I'd love to work with you on that. And, from a really selfish point of view, I've had so many opportunities off the back of it, all because I was willing to just say yes. And, it's not, I demand to get paid for this or whatever. Like just leave your ego at the door and, say yes. Because half the time it's quite fun. Sometimes not so much. Like if you get, I've had 1 or 2 like experiences where people kind of, I don't know, heckle's not the word, but like, come back at you definitely. But it's an opportunity to just hear some feedback on your ideas and whatever you're doing from like 100 strangers or who have got different ideas and different thoughts. But also it's an opportunity for you to really put yourself out there and maybe meet some super cool people who can, in a selfish way, help you as well as you help them. So, yeah, for me, public speaking's been the greatest like marketing tool I've had in the last couple of years. And so I'm really grateful that I've had opportunities to speak publicly, and even podcasts like this are a great opportunity for that too.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people around me that are scared of public speaking because, or they have great ideas, but they don't know where to present it, the platform, or they're just simply scared of have stage fright. I think
So,
the same
so you,
helps
you
them.
enjoy public speaking yourself.
I haven't done much public speaking, but I enjoy it, and I do some stuff in school related regarding public speaking sometimes.
And so do you ever get nervous when you talk publicly?
Sometimes like if it's um in front of someone with big authority, but usually not too much.
And do you find that you're eager to like seek out public speaking opportunities, or are you kind of um, just like whenever they come, you'll say yes or whatever? Like, what's your stance on that? Do you go looking for them, or
Not at the moment. Maybe in the future when I get bit more time after college applications, maybe. Thinking about going into public speaking more. But at the moment, I'm just doing it as the opportunities come to me. I'm not seeking them out actively, as I will in the future.
100%? So I just think like I guess you can overthink these kind of things when we talk about like the psychology of being nervous and stuff, but definitely like being nervous, and it's a super cliche thing and everyone says it, like everyone kind of gets nervous with these things, I guess. Like I'm sure maybe there are one or two people that don't, but
Yeah.
I don't think everyone gets nervous. I think the one thing, like if anyone is nervous, I don't know how you feel about this, but like on a personal level, I do find that if you're nervous, actually the kind of the high at the end of it, if you like, is way better. Like, you know, when you do something that kind of you're worried about, it's way more satisfying than like if you go in, yeah, I know I can do this, I've done it. It's kind of yeah, exactly. So I think if you're nervous, there's even more of a reason to do it, because at the end of the day, if you don't speak well, first of all, everyone's had public speaking issues, and so people are super understanding. Like, put yourself in the position of the audience. If you were sat there in the audience and someone messed up, would you start just laughing at them and or whatever? No, like you'd empathize with them and almost like respect them more, because you know that potentially it's not something they're comfortable with doing. So put yourself in the mindset if you were in the audience, and then if you're nervous, just think about how much better actually you're going to feel at the end of it, because if you were natural with it, you wouldn't get that kick. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, like that's something that I just personally enjoy. I don't know if everyone lives for that kind of like satisfaction feeling in your stomach at the end of it, but yeah, that for me is like whenever I'm nervous, I know I'm going to enjoy the other end of it way more.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it just looking from the audience perspective, but it makes a lot of sense doing so.
But also like from your own point of view, like if you do mess up, who cares? Like we're young, so at the end of the day, this is something that actually a friend of mine from America really told me when I was like 14, and kind of super inspired me. But it was always, when we're young, we should just kind of take every opportunity that comes our way, because who cares if you mess up? Like even if it's starting a business and you lose money, when we're young, you way rather lose money when you're 15 than when you're 40, because when you're 40, you've probably got kids, you've probably got a mortgage, you've got loads of different like real life problems. Whereas we're young, like our issues are very much, like, oh, I can't go to like, I don't know what the big restaurants are in USA, but in the UK, I don't know if they are in the US. Like Nando's is huge, and like, no, it's a huge like chicken restaurant over here, and so like any spare pocket money, most kids will go and like have lunch with their mates at Nando's or something. So, that's how much money kind of like, I don't know. Our problems aren't as real. Like if I have to say no to a mate going out for something fun, like, oh, I can't go and hire some tennis rackets today to go and play tennis with my friends or whatever. Like a lot of young people, I understand that there are some young people who do have some, for them, maybe money is like something that they have to contribute towards, like more the bigger picture with the whole family and stuff. But a lot of kids, we're at a young age where things such as money, not exclusively money, but, being proven to be wrong or making yourself look stupid, all of these issues heal with time because we're young. Like if you start a business and it flops, people are just going to commend you for trying, not going to say, what an idiot. Whereas if you're 40 and you quit a job and you risk your family to start a business, like, and it fails, if you're worried about that external sort of thoughts in towards you, I guess, then like more people are going to go, what were they thinking? But when you're a kid, people like, there's no negatives to it. If you try and fail, people are just going to commend you for trying. And if you try and it succeeds, you maybe set up like, something really cool for yourself. So yeah, I just say that with everything, like with public speaking. Let's say you do the worst imaginable thing, you completely forget your lines and like have to walk off stage or something with your tail between your legs. You go home, probably never see any members of that audience ever again, and you learn from it. And you're like 16, 17, 18. Who cares if you messed up? Like time is a great healer, I guess. And so, as I mentioned, if you're 40 and you're making a presentation on behalf of your business to really important investors, that's probably slightly different. But like, we're kids, we're all trying stuff out. So like, I wouldn't be worried about being perfect at this age at all, because we don't need to be. Like, it's our mistakes that define us. And like, you know, if we're going to get religious with it, I mean, the Christian Bible really states that God made the earth as a place to make mistakes, and said that all humans are born imperfect. And so, you know, I know there's probably a lot of quite religious people potentially watching this, and so definitely look back at what your religion says about sort of the reason for God creating an earth, and or your God creating humanity as a race, I guess, because we're not designed to be perfect. And so, yeah, like, I think for us to expect perfection from ourselves is completely delusional to an extent.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for coming on the channel.
Thanks so much, man. And I hope to have some more interesting content from you in the future, hopefully from my teammates.
Mm-hmm.